Hello, movie nerds, and welcome back to Cinematic Sarcastic, a podcast that talks all things movies and television. I'm Natalie, and I'm your host. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the new movie, No One Will Save You. This one was a doozy, y'all, so strap in. I want to start off by saying I'm going to try and not put in any spoilers in this one. It's going to be pretty hard not to and still sort of explain kind of what my thoughts around this one are, because this one was strange. I think whatever the screenwriters, the writing room, whoever it was that wrote down this movie, I only have one thing to kind of put out to them, and that is whatever substances y'all are on, why are you not sharing with the class? Like, this one was some ayahuasca fever dream like I have not seen in a while. When the trailer for No One Will Save You dropped, I was immediately in. It was giving me, the Tom Cruise alien invasion. I'm blanking on what the title of that one is. I always think of Independence Day, and I know that one is not the one. But the one with Tom Cruise, you all know what I'm talking about. That is kind of the vibes that it gave me of like Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, like trying to beat the odds of this alien invasion, narrowly escaping and sort of surviving the day, right? That's kind of the vibes that this was giving off, but it was going to be obviously a lone character who, from the setup, that she's like a loner. People don't like her very much. They hint at this sort of accident or this sort of past deed, perhaps, and I won't spoil that here, that has taken place that kind of has made her an outsider among the rest of the group. And then the alien invasion starts. And this movie had me for about 3/4 of the film. And then it took this dip, this left-handed turn that not only was I not expecting, but that I did not enjoy so much. And the ending for me was pretty disappointing, kind of confusing. I didn't understand it, and it sort of took away from everything else that had happened up until that point. At least for me, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be one of those incredibly weird ass films where you either really, really like it or you kind of don't. I don't think that this is one that most people will just straight up hate. I think it is really well done. I think the creature creation, like the alien creation here, was awesome. I think that just the story, like the actual plot of it, was a little bit confusing. Like, I didn't kind of understand how the two main elements or the two main driving plot points connected together. And this is really the reason why I'm going to try not to do any spoilers in this review, because I think even though this one for me was not terribly, like the ending was not terribly enjoyable, I enjoyed the experience of watching it. So this is one of those things where my recommendation would be to watch the movie, but with the setup that potentially you might be pretty disappointed by the end of it. And I don't know, because to me, I don't feel terribly disappointed having watched it. I think, again, 3/4 of the movie I very much enjoyed. I have kind of an issue with like jump scare movies. I don't enjoy them so much. And like, this is one of those movies that any noise. And I am a light sleeper anyway, but I feel like after watching this movie, this is one of those movies that, like, if there is so much as a floor creak, I will be straight up in bed. I will be wide awake. There are certain plot points to this, or certain elements, I guess, that I don't understand how someone that is living alone, kind of, I'm guessing in some sort of southern state, doesn't have any weapons of any kind. No guns, not even an axe, nothing of that nature. Like during an alien invasion, I feel like that would be pertinent, but nada happening in this movie. So if you're expecting kind of like a good, what is the word that I'm looking for? Like a satisfactory fight, it has some of that somewhat, but not kind of to the extent that I was expecting or that I wanted. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the alien creation, the creature creation in this, I feel like was almost the best element of the film at the end of the day, like after having watched the entire thing. It deals with, and I know it's shown in some of the trailers, some of the aliens, and it deals with like the grays, or that typical short, big bug eye aliens that we would refer to as the grays. But they're created in such a way, or designed in such a way, that they're like different kinds of them, and they're unique to each other by kind. They were super cool to see on the screen, and they did that like weird, like from the movie The Ring, or if you've watched any sort of Asian horror, that sort of popping movement type thing that like the creatures or the people do in those films, the aliens do in this. And I hate that. I hate it. And what I mean by hate it, not like, oh, it's a bad element, but I hate it because I'm terrified of it. Like, I don't like when things move like that sort of disjointed, sort of slow popping. I hate it so much. It's the worst. I feel like zombie television series and stuff kind of do that as well, that sort of skippy popping movement, and I just it makes my skin crawl. So it's really great for films like this, films that are meant to be scary. However, I don't know, like I had sat down and watched this in the dark. Like, I knew it was going to be scary. I turned off the lights. I was ready to be like terrified to death and ready to like have nightmares for ages. And then part of the way through the movie, when I was like, this is starting to go in a direction that I know is not going to be particularly satisfying to me, the lights just came back on, and I was like, I'm just finishing this to finish it. And the very, very ending of it, and you guys are going to have to let me know what you think of like the very, very end of it. I would be curious just to see people's thoughts. To me, was the most dissatisfying fucking thing in the world. I was like, what is it? It kind of gave me the same sort of vibe as Midsommar, if anyone has seen that. This movie gave me kind of those sorts of vibes, where it has this underlying theme that I feel like if that's not what you're looking for, it's going to be kind of disappointing. But overall, I'm not unhappy that I watched it. It wasn't what I wanted from it. And so it was a little bit disappointing, but it was still a good time for portions of it. But this is one of those types of horror movies where I feel like you're not going to really understand the motivations of the lead character. Like, there are so many decisions that she makes throughout the movies that I'm like, in real life, in a realistic circumstance, no one is going to behave like that. No one is going to do that kind of thing. But, those are things that I feel like doesn't make or break the movie for me. It can still be enjoyable that way. But this one, just kind of the twist and the ending was what sort of made it not as enjoyable. The rest of it, I thoroughly enjoyed. So like 75% of it, I really enjoyed. The other 25%, not so much. But I would be super, super curious to know what y'all think of this movie, which is why I'm saying maybe check it out if you're at all interested in. It was it was weird. Like, it definitely was like a fever dream type of a film. So yeah, those are my thoughts on No One Will Save You. I would really love to know what your guys' thoughts are on this one. Subscribe if you want to join the Movie Nerd family, and I hope to see you in the next episode.